Why is every story around Andre Onana absolutely crazy? I mean, it's one thing hearing stories last week about Andre Onana wanting to come back and fight for his place in Manchester United's side alongside Senna Lamens. That's ludicrous on its own, as you know. But this story this morning that I'm going to read out, and this is all of your latest Manchester United news. What I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to get all of your thoughts on this later on in this video. But Andre Onana, Manchester United, we know where we're at with him. We know where he is. And this has actually come from a story from the vice president of Trabzonspor. Man United want 40 million for Andre Onana. 40 million. Yeah, I know. It sounds a little bit ludicrous, doesn't it? It sounds crazy. I'm going to read into this and get your thoughts on it, obviously, in a little bit. But I'm going to go through everything. I'm going to go through all the detail on Andre Onana and what Man United still owe, how much Manchester United realistically think they can get, where this story has actually come from as well. And like I said, it's not so much as someone reporting on this. They're reporting on the vice president of Trabzonspor, where Andre Onana is on loan at the moment because he's useless and Man United don't want him, actually coming out and saying that Manchester United have changed their mind regarding the price and valuation of Andre Onana. Now, you know my thoughts on Andre Onana. You know how I feel about him, and I don't really like talking about him that much or anything to do with Manchester United. I think he is realistically the worst signing in the club's history, and Manchester United do just need to get rid at this point. Hence the whole thumbnail on this video, and don't risk it. Why are you even trying to get that much? It makes absolutely zero sense whatsoever. But this is the part of it, and this is what has been said on it. I'm going to bring it up now. I'm going to get your thoughts on this a bit later and give me your opinions. Get into the live chat if you are live with us. And obviously, if you are watching this video later on, I'll let you know what the live chat has said. And you just get in there as well in the comment section and let me know what you think and let me know exactly what you think Andre Onana is worth right now. But this is the actual story itself. So I've taken the extract from the actual article, and this is what has been said. So, multiple reports last summer suggest that Manchester United wanted 30 to 35 million for Andre Onana. Well, 30 million quid, 35 million euros. Despite no one coming forward for a permanent deal, the Red Devils have now increased the valuation to 45 to 50 million euros, approximately 40 million quid. Kafkas, who is the vice president of Trabzonspor, has said, as the figure from Manchester United for the purchase of Andre Onana is in the range of 45 to 50 million euros, our president has sincerely informed the community in line with Trabzonspor's realities. You know what that means. It's like, Man United, get real. No one's going to pay that price. And Trabzonspor are not going to break all of their transfer record for a goalkeeper that's performed the way that Andre Onana has performed over the last few years anyway. I don't think the information affected Onana at all, because Andre Onana is thinking is that if it's not England, he wants to continue at a club in Europe. His family thinks the same way. The president also wanted to explain Trabzonspor's reality. However, if the conditions change, the situation changes. So what he's saying there basically is that if Manchester United get a little bit more realistic with their price for Andre Onana, then obviously Trabzonspor might be able to do business and they might be able to buy Andre Onana. I still don't think that they are going to be able to afford him. I'm still flabbergasted as to how Trabzonspor could afford Andre Onana's wages, for one. That's quite a lot for that type of team over in Turkey. But when you look at what Manchester United actually owe still, and this is an approximation, obviously, going off the amortization side of things with Andre Onana, Manchester United, as of March this year, going in and where we're at now, we still owe 26 million quid approximately on Andre Onana's transfer fee. Now, this is part of the 260 plus million, which is probably going to have to be paid within our finances. That's been reported when the financial reports came out for quarter two. That's part of that 260 plus million that needs to be paid this summer. That's normal, and that's within the finances of Manchester United. Does that mean that another chunk of Andre Onana's transfer fee is going to be paid off in that? You would have thought so, going into the summer. And this is obviously his third year now. So this would be heading into Andre Onana's fourth year of his contract, whether he's at United or whether he's on loan. So effectively, you could say that there is another chunk of that coming off, and maybe Manchester United then would owe maybe 13 million, something like that, going into the last year of his contract next summer. It might be that Manchester United have 26 million after this transfer window has reopened again. I'm not sure how that part of it works, but when you look at it, we're all saying, and the realistic pricing for Andre Onana, when you look at it, I mean, what is it? What is this man worth? He isn't worth 20 million, is he? Manchester United want to have a profit on Andre Onana. How can you have a profit on a goalkeeper which has failed miserably, who has underperformed to the highest levels? Even the coach of Trabzonspor has come out and said that Andre Onana has actually performed well in games and hasn't performed well in games. He's inconsistent. He's always going to be inconsistent. This has been his career through Ajax, through Inter Milan, through Manchester United, and now in Turkey with Trabzonspor. How Manchester United's hierarchy feel like they can get 40 million quid for Andre Onana is mind-boggling. It really is. I don't get where this is actually coming from. 30 million they would have accepted last year. I think that's pretty much Manchester United covering their debts. This is why I don't think United are going to, from that fee that I said, that 26 million, I don't think that's going to change this summer. I think it'll change the following summer. And then the one after that is his last year, and that's when his contract is paid up. That's when his transfer fee is paid. They're paying it over a 5-year contract, of course. And that's how the amortization side of things works. So you look at it, Manchester United wanted 30 million. I think that's going to cover Andre Onana and what Manchester United owe. They take a loss in terms of what they initially paid for him, but on the books, Manchester United will end up turning a profit for Andre Onana. So that's where they're at, and that's for some reason changed. And Man United actually want 40 million quid for him. That's a lot of profit on the books as it is at the moment. They thought, and the plans were coming out of Manchester United, that he would go out on loan this season and would gain momentum again, get a little bit of confidence back, and then obviously his value would be up again and his value would be worth something at Manchester United on their books. And then they could sell him for the right sort of price. They were hoping without him playing for United, the pressure would be off. He would go away, play games, and obviously regain his confidence to the point of where he was when United bought him from Inter Milan. That's the thinking of the club. And that's if everything goes right. And we know with Andre Onana, I said it right at the start of this video, I said, Andre Onana, and every time you mention the guy's name, all you're thinking is crazy, calamitous, ridiculous, stupidity. These phrases and these words all come to mind when you're talking about Andre Onana. So who in their right mind is going to spend that much money on a goalkeeper? Let's not forget, this is a goalkeeper that's going to cost you how many games a season, like he did with Manchester United. Like the head coach of Trabzonspor has already come out and said he has this season, not playing well, not playing well. The inconsistencies are there. You're not going to go out and spend that money on a goalkeeper. Manchester United here, I think, are running the risk of not being able to sell Andre Onana and him being stuck at the football club yet again. Right now, we want to see from this football club action. We want to see intent. We want to see that they're also willing to accept that they made mistakes. Look, I know that Ineos did not buy Andre Onana, but Ineos are in charge of the football side of Manchester United. Take what you can, get what you can out of this, accept the loss, move the wages off the book. You're recovering some of this in the likes of Marcus Rashford coming in this summer. That's going to be pure profit for Manchester United, of course. Just get this man out of the way. Make it look like you mean business on the football side of things, is how I see it anyway. Because we're hearing about the ticket prices going up. This just makes me feel like I'm paying for the mismanagement of these types of transfers, personally, as a fan. Go in there, get what you can. If it's 25 million, you make what, about £1 million loss on the books as it is at the moment. You're covering that in Marcus Rashford in the same transfer window. Lower the price. Make him gettable for a team like Trabzonspor or somebody else. Get him out of the way, and you're saving yourself how much in wages per year? Some 4 to 5 million quid in wages. Because when Andre Onana comes back, his wages go up by 25% because Manchester United might be back in the Champions League. All if buts and maybes in the Champions League, obviously, is going to determine how much these players are on going into next season. That's going to be what other clubs, if they loan him out again because they can't sell him, are going to have to pay Andre Onana. Because United are not wanting to pay the wages at the moment for him. Obviously, he's out on loan and Trabzonspor are covering that. but that's 25% discounted because we're not in the Champions League. When he comes back, if United are in the Champions League, someone else who is loaning him is going to have to pay full whack. And is that going to be something that they want to do? No. So in the end, Manchester United are going to end up having to probably subsidise and pay part of his wages because, again, going straight back to the calamitous side in the top of this video, who is going to put that much money into a goalkeeper that they cannot rely on? They're not going to pay them wages. They're not. He is going to make any team worse. That's the point I'm trying to make with this. Manchester United need to get realistic and get realistic quick with this before it turns into another saga of a player all the way to the end of his contract, like Jadon Sancho, like Tyrell Malacia, like these mistakes from before. All of these players on absolute Brewsters and mega money at United, just clinging on and making us look like we don't know what we're doing, and the management of this club are being laughed at by everybody else. Clear the decks. Show intent, show us that you mean business and you're actually going to do something this summer. And that's not just in the people you bring in, it's the people you send out. You could throw Mason Mount into the equation here. I want a cutthroat decision being made on Mason Mount. The story about him coming out, and he was another one who was bought in the same summer as Andre Onana. That 2023 summer, Manchester United, honestly, their heads exploded. Bayindir, Onana, Mason Mount, Rasmus Højlund. That set Manchester United back more than the original year when we were spending 75 million on bleeding Antony. Mason Mount is not going to be available for Manchester United next season when we need him. He's proved that already. 3 years. That's long enough for me to make my decision. I like the player, move him on. But the story from United at the moment is they're not going to push Mason Mount out now, and Mason Mount doesn't want to leave. If I was on $250,000 at the biggest club in the world, having played 22 games on average per season, I wouldn't want to leave either. So what happens from there? The club has to make a decision and obviously be a little bit more cutthroat in moving him on. Take a cut price offer and get rid of these players. I know on the books that will show us a loss, but if we're in the Champions League, the opportunity will be there to cover this. And we want to see intent from the Manchester United hierarchy now. We want to see them put the football first, not thinking about the finances. That's where the ownership can cover things. You are allowed to put a certain amount of money in each financial year from the ownership. I wonder if that gets shown in the financial figures as well, because that is allowed. I'm not sure if that is in the new financial fair play rules, which are kicking in this summer, which is why I won't fully commit on that. But in PSR rules, an owner of a club can put a certain amount of money in to each financial year, not too much, because that would obviously be cheating and why they brought financial fair play in the first place. But they are allowed to do it within the rules. That's going to change probably. That's probably going to change, I would say, around the new financial fair play rules kicking in this summer anyway. Right. Let's get your comments in on Andre Onana. And if you are playing catch-up later on, everybody, please do get your comments in the comments section. I want to know what you're thinking on this Andre Onana situation. So let's have a laugh with the chat this morning. Let's see what everybody's saying around this Andre Onana situation. We have had a super chat in, first of all. Thank you very much. I love the community. Thank you, everybody. Again, Roz in the super chat says, Mount, Rashford, Agate, Onana, Bayindir and Sancho expiring contract, but happy he is going. Flush the turds, he says. Happy all of them are going? Look, Mount has still got plenty of time on his contract. So has Onana, so has Bayindir, Manchester, so has Agate, of course. Man United need to make some big decisions. Big decisions. Quoting 40 million is a strategy because they know Saudis are still interested and will pay more. Do we really think people are going to be running off to Saudi Pro League this summer with everything going on over there at the moment, though? Let's be realistic on that one as well. Mark says, so we're still in a position where we question the business sense of the board. Transfers are supposed to be good, best in class, rid of the rot, but we have the possibility of Pratman returning. Well, that's some other numpty's name for him. Let's just call him the calamitous clown, shall we? Because I think that best describes Andre Onana, Mark. But again, I did make the point, and I'm not bailing Ineos out on this here. These were transfers done by a hierarchy and directors at this football club that just weren't qualified to be where they are. and the state of these transfers is coming back to kick ass this summer for Manchester United. All 4 of them. They were the last transfers that were done before Ineos's part in running this football club, where obviously we're in charge. And the 4 of them, honestly, I look at them transfers and go, it just shows that Manchester United had the wrong people in this football club. It shows that we have dug our own grave, in a way, with the people that were running the football club. It's ludicrous. Them 4 signings have to be 4 of the worst, all in the same window, and were supposedly the transfers that were going to take United forward again to challenge for the title. Because remember, before that, we qualified for the Champions League. We won the League Cup under Erik ten Hag. And then that window came in. And that's what you get when you haven't got authority within your hierarchy and the ownership. You allow Ten Hag to come in and have his say, Rasmus Højlund. You've got Andre Onana, when we should have been trusting in Tony Coulton, who's the man who picked Senna Lammens, who is one of the best signings that's been made this summer in that young goalkeeper from Belgium. Instead, we've got the guy that has completely, well, let's just say everyone got carried away with the Champions League final and his performance against Manchester City that year. We've got a guy there that Erik ten Hag knows. And we allowed Erik ten Hag that influence. It just goes to show how weak this football club was back then. And look, it's a different ball game now, but it is all going to come down to what Manchester United do in transfer windows going forward. Unfortunately, we're still trying to clear the crap out of what was there before. Happy Saturday, lovely people. There's another super chat from Block. Thank you very much, mate. Onana tried to be a goalkeeping hero, but even the goalpost started hiding from him, says Gems. Adam, I will be watching El Mala. I hear United are looking at him. I've no idea, mate. I've not seen that story yet. Not sure if it was AI, but I saw something with Edwin van der Sar claiming Onana is world class. That has to be AI, doesn't it? Can't be right. Hi, Adam. Are we talking about Carrick and the present situation? No, not at the moment, mate, because we're not playing football. I think we've covered Michael Carrick for now. We'll have to start talking about him when the football comes back. Right now, we're talking about Manchester United's strategy for this summer. And for some strange reason, this club think that Andre Onana is worth 40 million quid. Keep your comments coming in. I'm just going to keep you updated on all of the other news as well and everything that's going on around Manchester United, everyone as well. A little bit more from Andy Mitten from yesterday. We brought you that story on Manchester United looking at potential midfielders from Spain that would bring the eyebrow-raising level into Manchester United. Or the talk would be, well, it would definitely get people set up on their seats, is I think what Andy Mitten is alluding to there. It's going to be interesting, but he says Manchester United have got their targets. The players they're interested in, some of them are public, some of them are not. They're looking at some of the players we've mentioned, Anderson, Wharton, Baleba, but there are others, a few in Spain, that would absolutely raise eyebrows. Just to add a little bit more to that line that came out yesterday on that one. Manchester United also interested in Andre Santos. That came out in all of the transfer news over the last 2 days. That's the young Brazilian midfielder that Chelsea brought in as well. He isn't getting the right amount of game time and could be one of them players that is moved on. Chelsea obviously have an abundance of midfielders, so Santos could be on his way out. Is that an opportunity? Some actually rate him. He is very young, still only 21. Given the right opportunity, could he be a star? You just don't know, is the answer to that one. But again, it's going back to what Andy Mitten said there. Manchester United have their targets. In the goalkeeping side of things, and Andre Onana, just to go back to that, it is nice and calm within the football club to have adequate and quality goalkeepers within. Obviously, with Radek Vitek coming back from Manchester United on loan from Bristol City, I think Manchester United, with him and Lammens, we could easily move on the likes of Baindy. And Baindy could be the key to Andre Onana. I mean, look, if you are going to take a loss on Andre Onana's transfer fee, you're going to make money on Altay Baindy, on the books anyway. United have already rejected a £5 million bid in January. They want to sell him this summer. We're expecting that to come back in again. So, for instance, we don't owe any money on Altay Baindy at the moment, transfer-wise, amortisation-wise, which is true. Then we will get £5 million for him. We get 20 million for Onana. You pretty much covered Andre Onana's debts. Get him out of the door and move forward. Make some room for quality to come through, maybe even from the academy. I don't mind having Lamens and Vitek and then another academy player coming through the ranks and getting an opportunity maybe. Look what happened with Vitek. He came on tour, had a good spell on tour with Manchester United a couple of seasons back. Then obviously he went out on loan to Belgium. Now he's come back again and is absolutely crushing it in the Championship with Bristol City. So again, I would rather look at what we've got there, not have to worry about it. And Onana is going to be the closing of the book in goalkeeping sagas at this football club. He's 100% going to be the end of all of the craziness. Once he's gone, once Bayndé's gone, Manchester United are just going to have, let's just say, normal goalkeepers in our goals and in our ranks at the football club. And that's all that matters for us. We just want a bit of normality in that area of the pitch. And Senna Lamens has been a bleeding godsend. He really has. And I'm happy that we've got what is a normal, boring goalkeeper in between the sticks. And I mean that with all respect. I'm not having a go at Senna Lamens. I just like normal goalkeepers that do just the normal stuff. Don't cause a scene. Don't try and take centre stage. This was Andre Onana. This was constantly Andre Onana every single week, wasn't it? You was always heart in your mouth, worrying about everything that he was going to do. It was always the same with him. Pain in the ass. Right, let's get some more of your comments in on this. Again, please, obviously, I know it's a Saturday when this video is out. And if you are playing catch-up later on, get into the comment section. How much do you actually think Andre Onana is worth? There you go. That's what the question is for anyone watching later on. And obviously, if you're in the live chat with us right now, how much is Andre Onana worth? Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, says Gems in the chat. Thank you very much, Gems. Yes, you have just reminded me on that. Please do. They're all free and they help the channel out massively. Adam, if Lamens is injured, who plays instead? If Lamens is injured, who plays instead? Next season or now? I'm going to guess, well, let's do both, shall we? To answer that question, this season you've got Bayndé because he's our number 2. Next season you've got Vitek, who's coming through the ranks. If Vitek wants to go back out again on loan, I can't see it because Senna Lamens is going to be Man United's number 1 for years to come. I think that's important to remember. Is Vitek going to be happy being a number 2? If he's not, then the club has a decision to make. And of course, then you have to sell Vitek and get good money for him. Maybe have a buyback clause or something like that put in. I don't think Vitek's at the stage of his career where he's going to kick up a stink. I think he might take a chance as a number 2 at United. Maybe he fancies his chances over Senna Lamens. Could come in and with multiple games next season with us being back in Europe might get his opportunity. So to answer the question, this season Bayndé, next season Vitek. Or if Vitek's sold, we buy another goalkeeper in with the funds that we've made from him and selling Bayndé. I'm not even going to bring Tom Eaton into the equation. There's a few people mentioning Tom Eaton. Tom Eaton is better than Bayndé and Andre Onana both put together. And he's 40. Hasn't played a game for 7 years. So that's my opinion on the goalkeeping situation. And just to answer that question as well. Tim said Onana is worth 10 million tops. Onana is a 20 to 25 million. And I'm being nice there, says Silverback. I know. Imagine the Everton game with all them corners at that end. We'd have conceded about 100% if Andre Onana was in goal. He's saying, Greg is saying there in the live chat as well. Yeah, 100% agree, Greg. That would have definitely happened. Andre Onana is worth a bag of crisp, says Gregory. Not helping our finances, Greg, mate, on that one. And hopefully a bag of scampi fries, Peter said. So he's topped you there on that one. The chat are fully going in on this. I know it is a little bit of a joke. The serious side of it is that Manchester United are being unrealistic here. And this is what the topic of this video is. I just don't want Manchester United to mess this up and we get stuck with him again next year. Because we will. And it's just going to keep on lingering on and on and on. And when you could be making a space for somebody else coming through, Andre Onana is just going to be blocking that pathway. United need to be very careful with what they do because he is coming back to United whether we like it or not this summer after that loan spell ends. Cameroon are not in the World Cup. There is a very, very, very good chance that Andre Onana, if United don't get their act together, He's going on tour and will be our #1 goalkeeper come the summer. Yes, I know. No one's thought about this yet, but that's the reality. Why? Because he's still on the books. Cameroon are not in the World Cup. And if Belgium do take 2 goalkeepers, well, they're going to take 3. I think, obviously, Courtois is going to be one of them and the #1. But Senna Lammens is going to the World Cup, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? This is where we're at right now. The reality is the World Cup players are not going to be in pre-season tour. We could still see this absolute clown of a goalkeeper in Man United's goals in pre-season. And it ruined my summer. It'll ruin it just seeing that man stood in between the sticks. It will. Lammens is a model pro. I have had enough of the loud, flashy, egotistical, social media loving bores, says Steve. You mean Andre Onana when describing there, mate. Not calling Onana a clown, but when he bought a car, the doors fell off. I know. He's jokes, isn't he? When you look at Onana, you think of a joke. You think of a meme. You think of a calamity. He's just an ongoing joke, isn't he? That's all he is. Get him out of this football club. Start being realistic, please, Manchester United. Just to go back, if you have just joined us and you are live with us right now, Manchester United's price tag, according to the Vice President of Trabzonspor, has now gone up to 40 to 45 million euros. We're unrealistic, we know, and unrealistic for Manchester United to even get anywhere near that. It has gone from 30 million, which we wanted in the summer, to this price now because United feel like the time that he's had in Turkey has raised that price by 10 million minimum. Don't know what they're watching because as far as I see on social media, Trabzonspor fans don't want Andre Onana. They want him gone and they want him out of the football club. So, again, I don't see why the price is what it is. And this is what is being reported right now anyway. Andre Onana is like a woodpecker with poppadom lips. Hopefully, I'm not being at the World Cup. Not being at the World Cup give them more time to sell him, says Lee. That's a good point to make. Andre Onana not being in the World Cup. I just mentioned there that he might actually be on Man United's tour. It might make it easier for us to sell him. Could potentially be a good way of looking at it. Good point there. Realistically, he is £15 million. I'd rather an academy keeper pre-season, says Chris. I'd be the same, mate. Obviously, don't forget, we've got Vitek coming back. I'd have him as United's #1 through pre-season if, obviously, Lammens is in the World Cup. So, yeah, we've got a lot to look at, and there's a lot to get into when the summer comes around for Manchester United. I just think make it easier for clubs to come in for the players that you're looking to get rid of. Where is everyone at on Mason Mount as well? Please do get into the live chat and give me your thoughts on him because he's another one of these players from that 2023 window. The only good bit of news we've got in terms of the window and the mess that was in 23 is the fact that Rasmus Højlund is definitely leaving to go to Napoli. This confirmed by Fabrizio Romano, of course. So, again, looking at that, I think that's a positive for Manchester United that obviously Rasmus has gone full price, full value. We've done well with that transfer. It kind of makes you think that United are looking at that and going, well, if we can get that for Rasmus Højlund, surely we can get a certain amount for Andre Onana. Maybe. And obviously we chat in from Ross. Thank you very much, mate. He says, this reeks of Trabzonspor committing to Onana and not wanting to follow through, trying to make United the bad guy. I mean, there was no option for them to buy to buy Andre Onana. That was set in that deal. So it's a straightforward loan. They pay the wages and they have no commitment, or there is nothing written in that for Trabzonspor to commit to buying him. So there is nothing really in Trabzonspor backing out of any deal or anything like that. I don't think they were going to buy him anyway. I don't even think Trabzonspor could afford the 30 million, which was originally priced. So, again, it's going to be, I think, Man United hoping that he plays well in Turkey and somebody else from Europe ends up coming in for him. And that, I think, is the hope. And that's where I see it being a very, very unrealistic. I'm going to wrap things up there this morning for you, everybody. There isn't any other news. Obviously, United are not playing this weekend, so I'll keep you up to date with everything that's going on with the football club. Of course, if any more news comes out, I'll have it covered throughout of the day. You're all very welcome. And thank you for being in on the show this morning. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you, mods, and everyone in the live. Get your comments in below. Let me know what you think of Andre Onana and the current situation, please, everybody. How much is Andre Onana worth?